Luffy versus Kizaru. Hello One Piece enthusiasts, I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about the possible fight that can happen between Luffy and Kizaru on Egghead Island. As of chapter 1091, we've got a glimpse of a clash between Luffy and Kizaru, and well, this fight is about to go down as the climax of Egghead Island from what it seems. Now, well, this is actually the first time ever we get to see Luffy fighting against an Admiral post-time skip. Well, post-time skip, we fought off against Yonkos. We've had the debates of whether or not Yonkos are equal to Admirals and whatever, but that aside, what I want to talk about is the possibility of Luffy's fight, what the possibility could be for Luffy going up against Kizaru, what are the chances what we get to see, and probably the outcome as well. Before we move on, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Now that you have, let's begin. Well, alright, the last time Luffy met Kizaru, it was in Sabaody. They stood no chance whatsoever, and in fact, the only admiral that humiliated Luffy in Marineford, like literally humiliated Luffy, was Kizaru. If you guys remember, yeah, Akainu did try. Akainu directly wanted to, end Luffy's life. Aokiji, on the other hand, was very neutral. He didn't, bother around with Luffy. He didn't play around with Luffy. He took his chances when he had to, and that's pretty much it. Kizaru, on the other hand, played around with Luffy a lot. In fact, a lot. So, there is some sort of a grudge between Luffy and Kizaru, and I doubt Luffy remembers it. The point being, there has been clashes. There is some sort of, I would say, friction between them, of course, with Marineford's interaction, and specifically Sabaody. Luffy remembers Sabaody more than he remembers Marineford, and yeah, Sabaody was miserable for the Straw Hats. They were, totally outmatched, and they failed miserably. This time around, Luffy says they're 100 times stronger than they were in Sabaody, which is probably true. And when Luffy says something, I take that like Oda basically power scaling and saying that, yeah, whatever he's saying is true. Like, whatever Luffy says is quite literally true. So, with that being said, now what the fight could be for now at this point. So, we know, let's just talk about Kizaru for a second. Remember, I'm expecting awakenings. If this is going to be a full-fledged fight, if this is going to be a fight that decides Egghead Island and is the climax, and this is the final fight of the arc, unless Saturn does something, I expect Kizaru to go through awakening, because remember, Aokiji and Akainu had an awakening. We saw what that did to Punk Hazard. We keep referencing that as the pinnacle of what awakening fights could be, especially for Logias. And yeah, Kizaru seems to be one of that. Kizaru having the power of light, lasers and whatnot. I entirely expect him to awaken the Devil Fruit, especially when fighting against Luffy, because at Yonko's status, although the world does not see Luffy as a Yonko yet, he is still a threat. He is someone who defeated Kaido, who has the Sun God Nika fruit, has a bounty of 3 billion. He is not someone that you would underestimate, and I think Kizaru would definitely go all out. Now, what would that seem to be? Like, awakening island, basically turning the whole island into light? Like, bro, how much faster can you get? How many lasers can you shoot? And with that said, what power boosts do you get? Like, I can imagine what Ice Awakening could be. Like, Kizaru could literally shoot ices from the ground. Kizaru could, let's say, use ice shields and, I don't know, shoot stuff from land like the way Doflamingo did, or whatever not. Aside from that, like, okay, with Kizaru, okay, like, light beams. What else? Like, what else could you possibly have? What would be the texture of light? Like, for Aokiji, the land was frozen, it's cold to walk on, and then there's magma, which is hot to walk on. I don't know what light is, though. Light, in definition, should literally be transparent. If it's not, I don't know what this is. So I have little idea about Kizuru's awakening. Let me know what you guys think about it. Like, this is very interesting, a very interesting talking point for me, because I've never seen something like this. This is something going to be very, very, very weird. As for Luffy, though, we've seen some speculations. We've seen speculations as to what Luffy could be doing. People thought that if Luffy could do anything he wants to, if everything he can imagine comes to reality, of course we would be seeing mirrors and whatever. But not Luffy literally making mirrors out of the ground, and I don't know how light would be reflected on rubber at the same time. Like, okay, bro, this is something insane. And aside from that, I expect Luffy just to go ham on Looney Tunes again, the same way he did with Lucci. But this time, in fact, it would be a test for Luffy. This is a fun point for another fun point for me is just seeing how much Luffy can handle Kizuru's strength. Remember, when fighting against Kaido, I'm gonna go through this point again and again until Luffy overcomes this problem in Gear 5, which is running out of stamina. With Kaido, he lost stamina. Kaido was generous enough to give Luffy enough time to get back up. With Lucci, however, he didn't need that stamina because Lucci is pretty weak considering where Luffy is. This time, however, Kizuru is not the kind of person who allows you time and will be very, very ruthless and very, very fast. So I don't see Luffy getting time to get back his stamina if he does lose it, and this is his ultimate test before he fights off against Blackbeard or Shanks or whoever to basically test his Gear 5. And this is the time where I expect Luffy to actually get pretty serious and actually have an overwhelming amount of stamina, or somehow get beyond it, in fact, to the point where he outlasts Kizaru. Now, from what we've seen, Akainu and Aokiji can last with their awakenings for 10 days. They had a fight for 10 days straight. Luffy does not have that stamina. The maximum he could do, I believe, would be like an hour or something. Remember how it was hard for Luffy to maintain Gear 4 for a long time, and then he started getting used to it. I feel like Gear 5 would be sort of the same deal, and yeah, this is something I expect. As for the outcome of the fight, I expect Luffy to win. If Luffy does overcome his stamina issue, and he can handle Gear 5 well and knows how to handle Kizaru, then yeah, I feel like Luffy has a brilliant shot. And with Kizaru being an Admiral, of course, he probably might have Conqueror's Haki. But at the same time, I like to believe that Luffy has a bigger willpower and better spirit than Kizaru does at this point. So in all aspects, Luffy does win, unless and until Kizaru somehow outruns him. Well, not somehow, he will outrun him with stamina. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. You guys think Luffy will win easy difficulty, mid difficulty? Will Kizaru win? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Until next time, peace.